Tomorrow you may hold another. Love me, darling, just enough. You say tomorrow you are leaving. I hope you know the way that's wrong. I pray to God you won't leave me. Love me, darling, just enough. Love me, darling, just tonight. Take your arms and hold me tight. Tomorrow you may hold another. Love me, darling, just enough.
What you want, son? You want what? Oh, you want a drink of water? Well, why don't you call your mama, and she'll probably bring you a drink.
Looks like we got a minute and a half. Oh, about another minute.
With eyes that sparkles with love, thinking of her beauties. Oh, how I wish I could hug. She's not the kind you'd picture in any walk of life, and I can see her only as my beloved wife. I courted her in high school, and there I won her love. I swore I'd never lose her, even prayed to God above.
All right, all right. Well, had to have me a little bit of bluegrass. Like a little bluegrass. All right. So, we're playing with a little green screen and trying to get it where we can get a little bit favorable, better background. Hey, Dave. Looks like we got Dave, Cindy, possibly Clint. We got Sally. All right. Well, we got a load tonight. Full house. All right. So, if the ghostly figure is a little much, let me know. I'll tone it down a bit. Like I say, we're good. Good. Glad to hear it, Sally. Um, I can tone it down a bit. Um, I can strengthen it a bit. But we're working on being able to maybe get some videos and things, maybe some different types of things in the background. Uh, Cindy says, please, please what? Please what? Please. Oh, please. Oh, please, she says. Well, let's see. Now, that whoops. Now, well, it whoops. Alright, well, that's a Alright, let's see if we can do this. Remove image. Yep. Alright. Is that better? Your image. My image. My image sucks. I've been told my image sucks. No. Like I say, we're playing with green screen a little bit. We got a green screen behind us. Yep. Walmart cheap ass sheet with a whole lot of green dye. Right. Anyway. Okay, so the image didn't work. The ghostly figure didn't work. Like a 60s concert with the psychedelic bubbles. I got an image somewhere with bubbles I bet I can put on this son of a bitch. I bet that'll work. Anyway. Topic. Americanized shamanism. Holy shit. By the way, if your children's are listening, you may want to send them a trucking. This is an adult channel, and I'm liable to I'm liable to not know how to talk. I'm liable to use some rough language. No topic on Live with a Shaman is taboo. So if you got a topic you want to hear the old fuzzy one talk about, send me a post. We'll take a look. Americanized shamanism. Well, let's remember, if you've watched any of my videos, which I'm sure most of you have not, the term shaman is a Siberian term. It wasn't even in the Americas until the 1930s. Yeah. Native American called their healers witch doctors. The ancient Celts called them either Pectish, Pectawitten, or the village wise one. Most of your ancient shamans were women. Hence the term white woman, healer. Dave says, I've never heard of an Americanized shaman. Well, Dave, I got to tell you, sir, are you an American? Was you hatched in America? Are you a shaman? Whether you might be an Americanized shaman, actually you are. In reality, I say again, in reality, the term shaman is Siberian. It's not American. Don't like it. Get over it. Go look it up. Now, I have a grove called the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. We call ourselves Celtic Shaman because the tradition follows real close to that of the ancient Celts. Right? I live in America. I'd rather be in Scotland, but my fat ass is stuck in America. Therefore, I am an Americanized shaman. I was born in this country, I was raised in this country, and I found shamanism in this country. It just so happens I really like the ancient Pictish ideas and philosophies. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are, if you live in America and you practice shamanism, you're an Americanized shaman. Don't you just love me and my terms and ideologies? Cindy says, I was born in Japan. But, my dear old friend, I know enough about your history to know you were raised in America. I don't care if you were hatched under a rock. You were raised in America. Therefore, you are an Americanized shaman. We can split the atom if you want. That's fine with me. I don't care. The Picts ate Romans. I'm sure the Romans enjoyed it too. Get you some. Alright, so let's have a little fun with it, right? The reason I wanted to discuss the topic of drum, right, Americanized shamanism is so many of the American population is stuck so far up their own ass that they think their religion is the only one. They think their religion is the only important religion there is on the planet. Wicca, Asatru, Nordic, Native American, Celtic shaman. However, I do have, and always will, taught my students, you are not the end-all, be-all. You don't know everything there is to know about everything. You never will, and if you do, I'll bow down and call you master, because it's not going to happen. You are a human being, just like I am. When you cut, you bleed. When you pinch, you hurt. You're human. Get over it. I, me, you, them, we're not any better than anybody else. Now, I do. I speak fluent Scot, and I understand it too. Scotland is home and my future for me. But I was born and raised in America. I found shamanism in America. I spent years trying to figure out what I was, what the belief system was, put it on paper so people could read it. And if you've ever been to the open grove of the Celtic shaman and looked through the files, you'll notice that our tradition is right there for the world to see. There is nothing we do that's hidden. There really isn't. We like to have fun. We like to play around. And we like to enjoy people. But when it comes time for circle, and it comes time to step in the circle before council, we enjoy the tradition and the concrete rules and regulations that we adhere to in our rituals. It doesn't make us any better than anybody else. It simply means when we party. Now, I quit drinking and doing drugs in 82, I promise you. I can party without the need of any chemical or alcohol. I can have more fun than most of them and remember the shit the next day without having to get drunk or stoned. Or as some of you would say, high. But I have to say, if we take a look at history, for lack of a better term, somebody in America came up with the term Christian pagan. It gives me a tick, the term Christian pagan. Somebody in America came up with the term shaman witch, the ones I like to call switch. I have one, not mentioning any names, that tried that. Didn't work real well. Now, I am by no means an expert on Wicca. I'm not. I've studied it. I've talked to third degree Wiccans who have been in the practice back then for 30 plus years. And they have explained to me that Wicca is not witchcraft. Okay? Not all Wiccans are witches. Not all witches are Wiccan. Now, if you want to know more, look it up. But I can tell you, you can find anything on the internet to say what you want it to say. Yeah. You're doing research and you don't like what you see, so you keep looking till you find somebody that's saying something you want to hear. I say that's not learning. That's being patronized and placated and told what you want to hear instead of being taught what actually is. Americanized shamanism is not a whole lot of any different. And there's just not anything we do that we don't put an American twist on it. Why? I don't know. It just is what it is. Several years ago, I almost changed the name of the grove to the Grove of the American Shamans. I'm glad I didn't. But at the same time, I defy any one of you watching the broadcast live, all three of you, to any one of you who watch the broadcast pre-recorded. Our pre-recorded broadcast has a audience of between 30 and 75. I don't know about the other social networks because they really don't give a number how many people watch them. We're on about 8 or 9 pre-recorded broadcast networks. But I challenge any one of you to live truly as the ancient Celts did for 3 months. 3 months. I don't think you'll make it 3 weeks. No air condition, no heat, no water, no toilet, no grocery stores, no electricity, and here's the one that's going to chap your ass. No electricity gives way to no cell phones, computers, digital, electronics, or anything electrical whatsoever at all. You hunt your own food, you grow your own food. If you don't hunt it or grow it, you starve to death. You have no modern medicine, no hospitals, no drugs to get rid of those aches and pains that we get as we get older. There's no Tylenol, ibuprofen, painkillers. To live as the true ancient Celts, you didn't even have ale. Because I'm talking about going back to where my base philosophical religion actually comes from, and I don't even know if the members of my grove even truly understand where my base foundation philosophy even comes from. I don't think any one of you have ever asked. But if you go back far enough, there's no ale, there's no beer, there's no whiskey. There's not even any wine. You wanted water, you found a creek. You wanted meat, you hunted it. Or you fished it. Or you grew it. Well, that's not meat. But you know what I mean. So, what do you think about Americanized shamanism? Do you think you could go back and live as the ancient ancestors did? I could if I had to. I was raised to live off the land, hunt my own food, know how to fish. I'll be straight up. I'm perfectly happy going to Walmart. Jack in a box for a quick, greasy meal. Waffle House. Yeah. So when I see these people get on Facebook and post, we need to live the simpler life. We need to go back in time and live during a simpler time. Oh, none of these either. Because there's no electricity. Back in the time I'm talking about, there was no tobacco available to my ancestors. The ancient Pects did not have tobacco. I'm not sure what they smoked, or took, or ate, or did. So, what is this thing called Americanized shamanism? Now, I'll be honest, right? I don't doubt I'm shaman. I don't doubt a few of you that I know personally are shaman. Excuse me. Those of you that I don't know personally, I've never seen you in circle. I've never met your energy in circle. I've never seen you call circle. I've never seen you practice your religion. So I'm not in a place to say you're shaman or you're not. I take you at your word. I look at your words versus your attitude versus your action and see if the congruency of your words matches your actions. You know, that's all I got to go on. I'm not going to judge you. It's not my job. Not my thing. I farmed Live with the Shaman as a specifically designed place that if you were interested in shaman, you could pop in and ask questions. If you had questions about a shaman and I didn't have the answers you wanted to hear, I'm sure somebody in the chat area or somebody that watches these videos later might be able to either tell you what you want to hear or tell you to get your head out of your ass, get your shit together, and just be who you are. And you know, back in 1998, I had an internet friend of mine tell me that very thing. Young lady up north, well, I say young lady, she's about my age, up north, very much into witchcraft. One of the few true planet-loving witches out there. We got to talking, talked for a couple of years. Met Debbie, ended up going over to Scotland, learned a shitload over there. I do every time I go. But me and this other lady, we never met face to face. We sparked a friendship, but that was it. And one day in late 98, 99, we were talking on, if any of you still remember what this is, the telephone, the landline. I was on my cordless phone sitting in my living room with my air conditioner blowing, watching TV. Sitting there chatting. Say, hey, what's your phone number? We need to talk. I'm like, hey, what? Why do you want my phone number? Because back then, somebody could look up your phone number and get your home address because your phone was attached to your home address instead of attached to your ass like it is now. So she called me. Said, hey, this is so-and-so. I'm not going to say her name on open channel. Not important. Hey, we talked until the battery died on my cordless phone, and then I had to dig up my poor old analog push button phone, call her back and go, oops, sorry, my battery died. We talked until sunrise. I think she called me about 9 or 10 o'clock. We talked on the phone until sunrise. And she told me, she said, Have you ever heard of shaman? Yeah, Native American shaman. Medicine men. No, she says. This is deeper than that. This is further back than that. She said, all of your memories that you talk to me about of past lives are from ancient Scotland, ancient Ireland, pre-Celts, pre-Vikings, if you will. The original settlers of the islands didn't even speak proper English. Hell, they didn't even know what proper English was. The English developed proper English, and that's another thing. We don't speak English, folks. We speak American. I hate to break it to you. I do. But we don't speak English. English is spoken in England. Spanish is spoken in Spain. Mexicans speak Mexican. Duh. Wow, what a concept. We speak American. I hate to say it, I hate to break it to you, but here we are. There are just as many dialects in America as there are in Scotland. You think I'm shitting with you? You can go to Scotland and drive 50 miles from one village to another, and the dialect will change. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Oh, right. So that put me on a task to find out what the hell she was talking about. Now understand, this is the late 90s. This is actually pre-Google. This was Metacrawler, Yahoo, IRC chat channels, bulletin boards, DOS command. I got on all of these things because, quite frankly, I wanted to know what the hell I was. I knew I was pagan. I was perfectly fine with that. God and goddess, balance of masculine and feminine. Great, sweet. But I also believed in Great Spirit, the androgynous being above that's neither male nor female, but both. Dave, MIRC, to be exact. Yeah. All right. So I knew that there was no way in hell that I could live as the ancient Picts did. Number one, society is going to frown on me walking around in blue with a loincloth. Only a leather rubber or a leather rabbit flap. Now, back in the 90s and early 2000s, I had a body to do that. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, I was built like a brick shithouse. I actually had pecs and arm muscles and all of it. I was working out daily, punching bags, lifting weights. Yeah, I was built like a brick shithouse. Well, something happened. I turned 40, and I got a little heavier. And by the time I was 45, I weighed 245. I'm like, what the hell? A year ago, I weighed 180 pounds, soaking wet. Anyway, yeah. So back in the 90s and early 2000s, I could have probably gotten away with painting myself blue and wearing a rabbit pelt over my happy parts and nothing else. Now, at 56, I won't do that to you. I won't do that to me. So as I begin to learn and manifest, I really am going somewhere with this. As I begin to learn more and understand more about where what Mesopotamian had to do with everything, as I learned more about the councils of Nicaea, and I learned more about where history comes from and how history is written. For about 5 years, my dumb ass read everything I could get my hands on to read, and anybody that knows me knows that takes a while because I suck at reading. So what's the point? The point is this. Don't always take what one or two people tell you as fact. Even me, I tell people all the time, what I'm telling you is my point of view and my interpretation of what I have read and experienced and learned. If you want to learn, take what I tell you, take what Cindy tells you, take what Dave tells you, and take what Sally tells you if she's still watching, and anybody else that's still watching, Debbie, Sean, anybody. Take what we tell you, mull it around in your brain a little bit, let it roll around with the rest of the marbles, and go research and find out what you can learn for yourselves. Bring it back to us and say, hey, I read this, this, and this. What's your opinion? What's your thought? What are your thought processes on it? How do you feel about it? I love a good conversation. I do. If the conversation has context and intelligence to it, I'm all for it. But if somebody is so busy sitting back telling me how good they are, I got better things to do. I don't want you to sit there and blow smoke up my ass and stroke my ego and try to make me respect you. Be who you are. Learn what you're going to learn. Share that. Let's talk about it. Because what is history broke down? His story. The story of the winner, or the story of the historian, and who knows how they were paid to write the story. Now some of you may be sitting here saying, hell, Don's having another rant. No, I'm not. I'm really actually sharing some pretty interesting information. Through conversation, we can learn a lot. I learn a lot through conversation with people, listening, sharing wisdoms and philosophies and ideas and thoughts. I learn a lot. It's not going to make me change my opinion of who and what I am to learn something else. And the same goes for you. If you're learning, if you're dedicated to the shaman philosophy, okay? Hey, Paul, if you're dedicated to the shaman philosophy, and that's who and what you are, it's not going to hurt you to learn about Wicca, witchcraft, Fae, Draconic, Santerian, Druid, Wicca, and probably 1,000 others I'm not even remembering off the top of my head. You think there's a boatload of denominations in Christianity, you ought to start checking those that are polytheistic. Polytheism. Polytheism, short name, is pagan. There you go. And some of you have coined me as anti-Christian. I'm not. Not in the least. I think Christianity has a real wonderful philosophy. It's the poor bastards that call themselves Christians that I think are batshit crazy, most of them. Now, that being said, I say again, what are your thoughts on Americanized paths? Anything. Go on then. I mean, Dave did a real good write-up on Wicca. I mean, I've stood in the Wiccan circle. I thought it was kind of cool. Not for me, but I thought it was kind of cool. And see, Dave makes a good point, and I think he made a good point without even realizing it. The Gospel of Thomas. Gospel of Thomas. Not the Gospel of God. And yes, Gospel of Thomas is really kind of cool. But so were the writings of Judith. So were the Psalms. Different variations of the Bible itself have some really interesting reading in it. I have a problem with a lot of it. And depending on which version of the Bible you get, some of it in there is quite archaic and rather fucking scary if you ask me. Yeah. Some of it's downright freaking spooky. But I'm not anti-Christian. I'm anti-stupid. Yeah. Psalms. I never could pronounce it. But at the end of the day, when it comes right down to it, I got a couple of facts for you that you're probably going to balk on. Some of you watching the pre-recorded broadcast later are going to go, oh, fuck off. Check it out. If you were raised Christian, okay, don't click exit. Don't close the video just yet. Hear me out. If you were raised Christian and you come into the pagan philosophy, you are going to bring some of that Christian philosophy with you because it's programmed in your brain. It can take years to deprogram yourself to fall into the true philosophy of pagan ideology. And I've had people say, well, Don, what is the true pagan ideology? They don't like my answer. You tell me. I can tell you the base core foundation is any polytheistic belief. That's pagan. The belief in the possibility and the existence of multiple gods and goddesses. Gods and or goddesses. Polytheism. Anything past that becomes path specific. Triad. Great Spirit, God and Goddess. Grove of the Celtic Shaman. I don't know any other grove of shamans out there that follow the triad, right? Um, Pentagram. There are so many different types of pentagrams and pentacles out there, it's not even funny. And every one of them is designed a little different. From the triadagram, kind of hard to see, the triadagram of the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, all the way to the Wiccan pentagram and the Druidic pentagram. They're all designed a little different. The essential basic ideology of pagan is polytheistic. Yeah, Dave's got a good point. Check it out. I'm not going to try to read it to you. But he makes a good point. No. Cindy says, is there a pagan belief that is a belief in one God? No. That is a contradiction in terms. The belief in one God and one God only and only one God exists is mono, one God. Period. Monotheism, one God. Polytheism. Poly meaning many. Cindy, you should know what poly means. And you stick theism on it. Many gods and or goddesses. So, in a contradiction of terms, when you say, I'm pagan, but there's only one God. No, you're not. You may not be Christian. Okay? Christian definition is one who follows Christ. Hence the spelling Christian, Christianity, Christ. One God, one Son. Son died for your sins on a cross. Yeah. I don't care if you agree with me or not. Definition is a definition. If you don't like the definition, write the people that write the dictionaries and make them change it. If what I'm saying offends you, piss off. I could care less. Oh, the title is Live with a Shaman. The title is not Let Me Make You Feel Better About Yourself. Jews are monotheistic. One God. Only one God. Jews are not Christians. I had a fucking idiot tell me one time he was Jewish Christian. Eh? What? No. Wait, no? Jewish Christian. No. Do you believe in Christ? Well, of course I do. Then you're not Jewish, you pisswad. Jews are monotheistic. Ta-da! What about Jews? Now, Jews are a very interesting religious sect of people. I've known several. They are an interesting people. I've liked most of them. Most of them are very open-minded. They're very accepting of who you are. And as long as you do not infringe upon their household, their religion, or their family, you're fine. Live however you want. As it was told to me by a Jewish rabbi, You can shag whoever you want to shag. I don't care. I like to fell out of my chair. It is not the Jews' way, and they will tell you this. It is not the Jews' job to proselytize to people and convert them to Judaism, like one of the other religions we know. Now, as a shaman, we kind of go one better than that. Shamans are arrogant by nature, even though we try not to be. In the same breath, shamans also humble their abilities, or they should. It's like I told somebody once. It's not a matter of what magic I know. It's a matter of what magic I use. It doesn't matter that I know how to kill you with one thumb. What matters is I don't. Don't want the karma. Karma will jack you up. And not in a good way. Shaman, like I've said before, shamanism is more of a lifestyle than it is anything else. Other than the fact that shamanism is typically a polytheistic belief system, is one of the few things that actually makes us pagan. Shamans find out real quick witchcraft is not for us. We find out real quick that the Wiccan ceremonialistic philosophy is not for us. Okay, I'm all about studying Wicca. I think it's an interesting path. Doesn't mean I'm going to change, and it damn sure doesn't mean I'm going to call a Wiccan circle. True to yourself, Cindy says. Yes. But I think the whole thing that I wanted to voice tonight for those younger people, and even those of us that have been in it for years that may need a periodic crack of the whip and a smack upside the head with a 2x4 to remember we're not the end all be all. I'm not, you're not. If you think you are, oh well. If you think you're the end all be all, more power to you, because you're not. And yes, if you notice my fingers are green, it's because we were dyeing that green sheet. We'll get it figured out. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the Americanized shaman and the fact that all religions in America today are Americanized religions. There are probably very few. There are a few Muslim mosques that truly practice the ancient Muslim philosophy. There are a few Tibetan temples in America that follow and practice the ancient Tibetan ways. I've yet to meet an American Siberian shaman. Boy, would I have some questions if I did. Nah, Well, I don't do potions. I'm not going to go to altar to cast for or against anyone. I'll light a candle for someone in need. I will help anyone I can any way I can, right? Within reason. But I'm gonna give you the rest of your evening back, right? And we're gonna call it a woe. But take this wisdom with you if you will. Whether shaman, witch, Wicca, fae, druid, asatru, agnostic, atheist, Christian, what the hell ever. Be who you are and be respectful of who other people are. I don't have to agree with you to like you. I don't have to have smoke blowed up my ass to stroke my ego to make me like you. In fact, most of the time that will make me dislike you. Yes, I hope to eventually live in Scotland. Scotland to me is the homeland. But it doesn't mean I'm anti-American. I'm here. I'm an American. And a lot of the guys in Scotland joke and call me the American Scot. Misplaced Scotsman, as it were. Be who you are. Be true to yourself. Be true to others. And be honorable about who and what you are. Have a good day. Have a good evening. And we'll see you next time, right here on Live with a Shaman.